What is up, guys? We are back, and today we are gonna be doing type 2 for practice test number 2. So let's begin. First question: which part of a belt driven non-hermetic compressor is most likely to leak if compressor has been used for several months? Now, it is a non-hermetic compressor, so it wouldn't be the suction service valve, the head gaskets on, or discharge side. It wouldn't be it either, or one or both of the king valves. That wouldn't be it. What is the answer for this one? It's gonna be the rotating shaft seal. So the rotating shaft seal will be the actual answer for this one. Number 2: which of the following is an indicator of a leak in a high pressure system with a capillary tube? Now, a trick for this one that it will come up on the test. You will have it like once on your test, but just a trick. A keyword is indicator of a leak. So once you have indicator of a leak, it is always gonna be excessive superheat. So indicator of leak, excessive superheat. So you won't have to read the whole question. You just see indicator of a leak, you know it's gonna be excessive superheat. Number 3: starting in 2019, what leak rate triggers the EPA requirement that commercial refrigeration system comparing 15 pounds or more of R22 to repair? Now, again, a trick for this one. It is a lot of words, a lot of stuff to read. R22, a lot of stuff to remember. So in this one, a leak rates. So commercial is always gonna be 20%. So just a trick. Comfort cooling is gonna be 10%. Commercial is gonna be 20%, and industrial is gonna be 30%. And that is for your leak rate. So just remember those three: commercial 10%, industrial 30%, comfort cooling. Comfort cooling it is 20%. No, comfort cooling is 10%. My bad. Commercial is 20%, and industrial is 30%. Number 4: after a leak repair of a supermarket rack using 300 pounds of R22 and a successful initial verification test, when must a follow-up leak verification test be conducted? Now, R22, that's medium pressure, almost low pressure. So that will be necessary, and it's 300 pounds, which is a lot of pounds. So it wouldn't be 30 days. It wouldn't be the next day either, because that's too, no, you gotta let it settle and all that. It wouldn't be on the same day because it's kind of pointless, but it will be in 10 days. So just make sure it won't be 30 days, because 30 days you have more time, which is something that is not as harmful. But when it's more immediate, it wouldn't be the next or in the same day, but it will be as fast as possible, which is like 10 days. So that will be the answer for number 4. Number 5: which of the following is not required in order to manifold an appliance using an extending the leak repair deadline? Shut down the appliance temporarily? No. Remove the refrigerant from the isolated section of the component. No. Remove the appliance and store it in a warehouse at a facility. Recover refrigerant from the appliance to a leak atmosphere to a least atmospheric pressure. So the answer for number 5 will be remove the appliance and store it in a warehouse at a facility. That will be the answer for number 5. Number 6, where must you connect a hose in order to recover liquid refrigerant? Now this one is kind of simple, it's just common sense. So if you want to recover liquid refrigerant, of course you gotta connect the hoses in the liquid line, not the condenser inlet, not the compressor discharge valve, and not the compressor suction valve. That will be in the liquid line. You want to recover liquid refrigerant, you connect it to the liquid line. Number 7, your recovery recycling machine has R22 refrigerant in it. So it has one type of refrigerant already in the recovery machine. You now have to recover refrigerant from an R410A unit. What must be done? Change the recovery cylinder on the recovery machine. Change the expansion valve on the recovery machine. No. Change the filter and expansion valve on the recovery machine. Remove the R22 from the unit and change the filter. So we already know the recovery machine has R22 in it, so of course you want to remove that R22, and you also want to change the filter. So D will be the answer for number 7. Number 8. What is the primary water source for a water-cooled recovery unit condensing coil? Chilled water from the evaporator, condenser water, local municipal water supply, and a deionized water. So this one will be local municipal water supply. Is basically a water hose. So that will be the main water supply. A local municipal water supply. So the answer will be C. Number 9. Why do gauge set hoses used for field service work have self-sealing connectors and or hand valves? To minimize the chance of explosion, to prevent vapor lock during vapor transfer to recovery cylinder. Now, to minimize a refrigerant release when hoses are connected and disconnected, to prevent a vapor lock during liquid transfer to a recovery cylinder. No. So the only one that makes sense in this one will be to minimize refrigerant release when hoses are connected or disconnected. So that will be the answer, because that's what they are used for. Like self-sealing connectors and or hand valves, they're used for not releasing a lot of refrigerant when you connect hoses or disconnect your hoses. So number 10, what steps should be taken before using a recovery unit to remove a charge? The refrigerant should be tested from acid. The recovery unit should be purged with nitrogen. The oil of the recovery unit should be changed, and the recovery cylinder evacuated. The service valve position and recovery oil level should be checked when applicable. So the answer for number 10 is service valve position and recovery oil level should be checked when applicable. So when you always use a recovery unit, you always want to check the level of the recovery. You always want to check it when you need to check it. If you see something wrong and it's mainly because of the oil, you want to check your oil level on the recovery unit. So, number 11. When should refrigerant be removed from the condenser outlet? When the condenser is below the receiver, when the condenser is on the roof, when the condenser is inoperative, when the evaporator has a small leak. So, when should refrigerant be removed from the condenser outlet? It will be when the condenser is below the receiver. That will be the answer for number 11. So for number 12, how long must an HVAC service company keep records for each disposable appliance with a charge between 5 to 50 pounds? 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, or 10 years? The answer will be 3 years. You need to keep records for at least 3 years. Which of the following statement about recycling and recovery equipment used for a stationary refrigerant is false? False. It must be tested by an EPA approved third party. Purchase of such equipment must be reported to the EPA. You don't have to report it to the EPA. When you purchase it, it must be equipped with low loss fittings. Equipment designed to recover flammable refrigerant must meet specific UL safety standards. The answer for number 13, which it says false, that is the keyword, is purchase of such equipment must be reported to the EPA. Number 14, you are changing out the compressor of an HVAC system containing 40 pounds of R4 or 4A. In addition to isolating the compressor, which of the following procedures should you follow? Simply remove the compressor and cup the end. Evacuate the isolated section of the system to atmospheric pressure, then remove the compressor. Evacuate the isolated section of the system to 0 psi, and if system pressure does not rise after a few minutes, remove the compressor. So the answer for this one will be C. You always wanna evacuate. You always wanna wait a few minutes, and if the temperature or pressure does not, you don't get it to where you want it, you'll wanna remove the compressor. So you always wanna wait a few minutes before you do anything. That will be the answer for number 14. Number 15, what should be done after reaching the required recovery vacuum on the appliance? Immediately disconnect the recycling or recovery equipment and open the system for service. Wait at least a few minutes to see if the system pressure rises. Break the vacuum with nitrogen and open the system for service. Pressurize the system and with nitrogen and perform a leak check. So after a few minutes of your vacuum and everything, of course, like I said, you always want to wait a few minutes to see if the pressure rises or lowers or whatever. If anything changes, that's why you always want to wait a few minutes. So the answer for number 15 will be B. For making a major repair, technicians must evacuate an appliance or component containing more than 200 pounds of R410A to which of the following level? This one, when it says 200 pounds, of course you can look at it in the book. In the book, it will have all the answers, especially in the, I believe 410A is in the back, and you just look for the pounds and the refrigerant, and you mash it up, and you will get the inches. But this one, what I did and how I know it works, because I kept on doing it over and over, and I kept on getting the same answers. So once you see 200 pounds and then R410A, I matched the 10 with the 10 in the answer, so 10 inches of HG vacuum. That will be the answer for number 16. Number 17. When can appliances containing refrigerant be recovered to atmospheric pressure? For major repairs such as replacing the compressor, condenser, or evaporator, the repair is followed by an evacuation of the appliance to the environment. Leak in the appliance make recovery to the prescribed level unattainable. The appliance is being disposed of and recycled. So the answer for this one will be leak in the appliance make recovery to the prescribed level unattainable. So of course, when an appliance containing refrigerant be recovered to atmospheric pressure, it will be when the prescribed level is unattainable. That's the only reason why you would do it. So in number 18, it says, what is the component directly following the condenser in the refrigeration system using a thermal expansion valve? So I'll put a picture above, but the component following that condenser of the refrigeration system will be the receiver. That will be the answer for number 18. Number 19, which when is set against EPA regulation to use self-dependent recovery equipment. So when is it against? When the compressor of the appliance is inoperative. My dog just woke me. Sorry, my dog has just walked in. So yeah, when the compressor of the appliance is operational, when the ambient temperature is over 105 Fahrenheit, when the appliance containing over 15 pounds of refrigerant, when the appliance is leaking. So again, when the appliance is containing over 15 pounds of refrigerant, so that is against EPA regulation because it's 15 pounds or less that you can use a self-dependent recovery equipment. It's 15 pounds or less, not 15 pounds over. On number, C says when the appliance containing over 15 pounds of refrigerant. So that will be the answer because it says when it's against. So number 20. Which of the following is a reason to take an oil sample? So a reason to take an oil sample. So most of the oil is concentrated on the compressor. So so you put the compressor and oil, and you got the answer right there. Basically, the unit has had a compressor burnout. That's the reason why you will take an oil sample. So what can happen when using a large vacuum pump to evacuate a system? Again, a large vacuum pump will cause something to freeze, but in here it says trap oil to freeze. A trap oil can freeze. No, trap refrigerant can freeze. So it does have refrigerant going over it, going through it, but that will not be the answer. Water in a system can freeze. The valve seats on seats can freeze. So again, well, not again, but whenever you have a question like this that like cause something to freeze, it will always be water. It won't be refrigerant. It won't be it will be water or cause liquid, or but it will be water, like water based. It won't be refrigerant. It won't be anything else. It will be water. So number 22. So number 22 is asking us liquid charging of an R410A refrigeration system with risk of freezing is begun by vapor from a vacuum level to a pressure of approximately, again, in the back of the book you will find the answer for this, but I will just tell you the answer for this will not be 32 psig, will not be 60, is 63 psig, and it will not be 90 psig. It will be 110 psig. That will be the answer for number 22. And again, it won't give you the exact psig going off 0. So 0 will equals 14.7 psig. So just go off that. So whatever, let's say R410A, and you look at the psig, just whatever psig you get, just make sure to have 14.7, and you will get the answer that you're looking for. And sometimes you won't get the exact answer, just get the one that's closest to it. So for what refrigerant is an equipment room refrigerant detector not required under ASHRAE standard 15 provided by the mechanical ventilation system in the machinery, and the machinery is run consistently. So the one that's gonna be here is gonna be an exempt refrigerant, which is gonna be R717. That will be the answer for 23. R717. Number 24. When could a reciprocating compressor be damaged if energized? So when a reciprocating compressor be damaged if energized is if something is left closed. So let's go through the answers. When the discharge service valve is closed. When the suction service valve is open. Nope. When the discharge service valve is open. Nope. When the damage of the cooling is at a steady state. No. The answer for this one will be A, when the discharge service valve is open. Is closed. So number 25. And then we're gonna start with type 3 and finish part 2. Every refrigerant system must be protected by which of the following? A pressure release valve, a properly located stop valve, low pressure controls, a refrigerant condenser, a refrigerant receiver. I'm sorry. So to protect the system, every system must be equipped with a pressure release device. That will be the answer for number 25. And we are finished with type 2 for part 2 practice test. And next video, we're gonna start type 3 for part 2. and be completely done for part 2 and then start part 3 on my video after that. But yeah, so on part 2 I have done it in section just because that's the way I do it in class. I want you guys to focus on one section, get whatever percentage you're happy with, get it right, and once you get all of those, once you get the score that you want, move on to the next section. So that's why I'm doing these videos by section. But yeah, when I finish with type 3, I'll put a video together of covering all core, type 1, type 2, and type 3. And that video will be a basically a review for part 2 practice test. So yeah, we're finished with 25. Next week or next video, we're gonna start with type 3 and we'll be done.